Okay, Perry, we're good to go now.
We're good? All right. Hello, everybody, welcome back. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Here we go for another year. All right, let's start with the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anything anyone wants taken off?
I'd like to remove 22, 23, and 25 for executive session.
Okay, 22, 23, and 25, executive session.
The current 22, 23, 25, because something is missing from something that was on here before, is not on here now.
Yeah,
so-
okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so 22, 23, and 25. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? All in favor? Aye. Any against? Okay. All right. Board retreat discussion. I was actually supposed to sit down with the new law firm to get some ideas for our next, or for the next retreat, but I haven't done that yet. Yeah. But what are some thoughts on like dates, you know, a date that would work out? And we can do this, we don't need to like try to slam it in September. I was thinking October maybe.
Yeah, they gave us October 14th and the 28th as options if they're available. And those are off of opposite of our normal meetings.
So does although we don't have David, does anybody have Chris, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so how does October 14th look for everybody?
28th is easier for me. I go to Washington, D.C. on the 15th, and my wife's away that week. So it might be a little tough, but I can make it work if we have to. But the 28th seems easier.
28th, not 20th.
Oh, you said the 14th. Which the 14th or what? The 20th?
14th and 28th.
Yeah, 28th should be okay.
Okay, I thought you said 20th.
Does that work?
I am working with wait, I don't think I'll be back in time on the 28th.
Right.
What time are you looking at doing it?
I was thinking like the regular board time, 7 o'clock.
That's fine.
The 14th.
Can we do it remote? If Chris, if you were, you know, on a Zoom, would that be all right for the 14th?
Yeah, I think I'll be able to do it on the 14th. So again, that's fine. I was just saying it would be easier, but I'll make it work. That's fine. I'll be home, so.
All right. And thoughts on like, I mean, is there something that you really feel like you need more information? I mean, the one idea that I had was like, for me, is the guts of this capital project. Like what happens next? What do we, you know, when do we have to make legal commitments? And I don't know if they even have that as a subject. Did they give you any, Cheryl?
No,
Okay.
we said we were gonna talk about it at this meeting, things that you would want to discuss. Come up with ideas for them to come in and talk about. And then she can also
Give us some.
submit ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be, you know, like we can just do a little bit on one section, you know, like I said, I keep thinking like, what's next with the capital project?
Yeah.
So I was I thought maybe they could help us with understanding our responsibilities, related to that. I don't know. Any
Sounds
thoughts?
good.
I was thinking that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Maybe we can submit questions, prior to the 14th.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Chris, your thoughts on it?
No, I think the capital projects is a good discussion to have. I don't know if they know really the ins and outs of how we have operated and managed over, say, the past few years or 5 years, but I'd be looking for some insight of, what we might be missing or what we should be covering, just an overall, conversation, I guess.
Yeah, and I think, I could be wrong, I think we have to make sure, because it's not a public meeting, so we have to make sure we're not talking about specific or like, yeah, I remember last Tuesday when we didn't do this, or we should have done that. Can't do those kind of discussions, it's more about getting taught stuff, but I think, and maybe that's the thing, maybe if we ask them about that specific subject, but would you accept questions, and maybe not even related to the capital project, say a week before this thing, and then, they can always tell, look, that's not appropriate for a retreat. That sound all right?
Yeah, no, that sounds fine to me. No, I wouldn't make it anything specific. I'm more talking about categories and, that type of thing, similar to the capital project. And I do fly out on the 14th, so I'll make it work. I'll just have to figure out, I haven't got a flight yet, so I could try to go first thing in the morning and be around to get on Zoom.
Okay, all right. Well, let me know if it's,
Okay, that's fine.
all right, very good. All right, so maybe, you can set up, like a call with them.
Yeah. Got it.
All right. Okay, the next is, under new business, we have our new, student board members identified. Going to, when do they start?
So,
They're not required to be in the summer meeting, so we'll
Okay.
see them in the first one.
Okay,
Either Kimura or Nina.
and we should, between now and then, really like some specific ideas on what we want them, to do, to report on, to, things we'd like to hear about. And again, we'll try to get some specific rules, because I know they don't vote on things, but what's their input, where are they out of bounds? But we can talk to the lawyers about that too.
I'd also like to suggest that the student board members, I guess the main one and the alternate, then be placed as well with a photo on the board website, under the board members.
So we can, as long as
They are
they're,
students, I can
Yeah.
remember that, because I know that if not, then just the names, if they allow,
yeah,
because they're gonna be
So-
part of a public meeting where their name is gonna be,
I know.
so.
I know, and so there was updates to the FERPA policy that we had gone through in the policy committee that even says things like we shouldn't even be mentioning students' names at the board meetings and stuff. So we'll go back to the attorneys and just make sure. I know the whole thing is kind of.
They're not reinventing a wheel, because I know, I believe it's Conning Plains or Hyde Park. Their last newsletter had the names of the student board members on it, so we're not reinventing a wheel.
No, it also
We
depends
just have to
on their
figure out how
policies
to
too.
do it.
Yeah, that's fine, but we just have to make sure it aligns with our
With
policy.
the permission of.
Yeah.
and they were elected by, school administration, right?
Yeah, so there was interviews, there were several people who had applied. And these were the two that came out as the preference.
Very good, okay. All right. We don't need to do that. District safety plan, do we? Oh, this is a
So we're not
review.
doing anything with this now. This is here for your review so that at the next meeting, when we have the public hearing, if you have any questions, you have time to prepare.
And then at some point, there's a more detailed one that's not public.
Right, so those are the building level safety plans and they get submitted later. And so those are executive.
Okay. All right, next is, donation from Virtues or Birches? Virtues Foundation. $1,000. Do I have a motion to accept? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions, comments?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
They've been a strong support. All in favor?
Bye.
Any against?
Aye.
Next is to accept donation of multiple books from Krista Fragos and James Snyder. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Questions, concerns, comments?
Are these just like books that they had at home? Cause I like, that's a great thing. I gave some to Alden
Yeah.
once, and I think that's great to have this on here, cause I think there could be some parents out there that might have books, and that's awesome to know that the school will take them. And
Yeah, absolutely, and we especially appreciate this because we have kiddos who go home to not many resources,
Mhm.
and it's nice to be able to have extra books that aren't necessarily part of like classroom libraries that we can lend for kids to take home and have to read and that kind of thing.
But also make clear that there is certain guidelines and
Right.
policies that, on books that we can and cannot accept.
Do these go in the little stand? The library
Yes, they
stand?
can do that, that's a public sharing stand, so we don't really govern what's in there, but they could do that, they didn't do that, Krista actually contacted me and said, I have some books in good condition, would you, accept them for the students? So she brought them to my office, she also wrote a lovely card, I can pass it around, yeah, and so just wanting kids who don't have books to have books, so we appreciate that. Yeah, she said her kids are done with them, so.
Books open up the world.
Right.
All right. Anything else? All in favor? Any against? Okay. Next is the first reading of 5695, policy 5695. I believe we're being asked to forego the second reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Caroline, could you just, summary of what's changing?
Yeah, so this is because the governor has created a law that students are not allowed to have their electronic devices during the school day, so it's a bell-to-bell ban. So we in Millbrook have had the cell phone policy that students have to have them off and away. The difference here is that they're required to put them in their locker or personal storage device, like personal storage. And so that's really the only difference. And it's to be compliant with law, it's not attitude for school districts. Some school districts have chosen to bear the expense of like the yonder pouches or Faraday bags or whatever. Since this has been something that we've had for many years here, we didn't really feel the need to do that because they are super expensive.
And they're not all that effective. I mean, they can be broken.
Kids are pretty sad, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. And so, I mean, your basic pair of scissors, having an old cell phone to turn in the possibilities are endless. And so,
Once we get our student members, then we'll torture them.
that's right, that's right.
Cheryl, you were going to put a connection under the executive content of the one that's all marked up?
This is a new.
This is a new one.
policy.
Oh, I thought we marked this up.
We didn't have a
No,
marked up
that's-
one. We had, that was in our code of conduct before.
okay.
We didn't have a
This
policy
is a-
before
this
because
is
it
a-
wasn't required. So
Okay,
this is the recommended policy.
okay.
I just, oh, go ahead.
No,
I just had a couple questions that I was out of town when the policy committee met. I just want to make sure this includes, I think the law keeps repeating internet enabled devices.
Correct.
But our district, it's not just internet enabled devices, correct? Because there's cell phones that are not internet enabled.
Right, so it's personal electronic devices, yeah.
Okay. That's clear? It was a little, I wasn't sure. It says internet enabled devices, but then later all students are discouraged from bringing devices.
So essentially, the school can give permission for their district issued Chromebook
Right.
to be used. Those are internet enabled devices.
Mhm.
If a child has an emergency, like if they're dealing with a family emergency,
Right.
they can be given permission to use their personal
Mhm.
device by a staff member.
Mhm.
There's exceptions for students that through 504 or IEP have a necessity that may require, for example, a diabetic student may require that they have that for like a Dexcom meter. But other than that, they're not.
Right, okay, I just want to make sure we're covering ourselves if a parent is like, my child's cell phone is not internet enabled,
Yeah.
so I I didn't read it word for word, but I want to make sure we're covered. And then what about watches that are electronic devices, but they're not internet enabled, but they're just as distracting? Are we going to do anything about those?
Watch it, like, what does that mean?
There's Apple Watches that can receive,
So that's where I think it's the
Text.
personal electronic devices would be.
it's
included in
electronic,
that.
so that falls under.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
And should the governor
yeah,
list?
no, I know, I agree with that.
Smart watches, we're not talking about your regular.
But, right, but they're not all of them are internet enabled.
Right,
they
so she's
can-
not making the distinction because in her policy, it's personal electronic devices and
Okay.
internet enabled, like in the law that is
Mhm.
written.
Mhm.
There's the intention that students will not have cell phones. That's the intention and probably not have
Right.
them.
So in terms of notifying parents.
Yeah, so this is not approved yet by the
Okay.
board. When it is, there's a letter that's going to
Okay.
go out.
Okay, if we probably need to mention those watches because a lot of kids are walking around with them and they can receive calls and texts and the children can text. So,
but in most cases, they don't have the phone connected to it. If that's in a locker someplace, it should disable that.
I'm not
Newer
sure how
one
any
can.
of that.
I just
Well,
saw
yeah, I'm not-
somebody
I don't
that
know.
leaves their phone at home and gets
Yeah.
it on their
The
watch.
parent
I
can
didn't know that.
enable it. From,
Was possible.
yeah, yes, I know, and I'm just,
But
yeah,
those are included in the not to be used.
In the first line of the policy, it does say the language that we have to use the personal electronic devices, and then the second line says such devices include internet enabled devices. I don't know, if it would just be clear to put include but not limited to.
Oh,
And then
oh.
just a question about this, after the first paragraph where it says generally the district is not responsible, do you need the word generally? Can we just take that out?
If we're not responsible.
Like, could-
right,
Can you just say
In this small, this second paragraph. removing the word generally.
Right, generally.
And then the second sentence of the first paragraph, if we just add, but not limited to after such devices include but are not limited to. I got it. Okay.
Okay. So. Once again, do we have, redo the motion, or do we just say,
To do the motion
As
with the
amended.
amendments.
Yeah, with the amendments.
do I have a motion to, to approve the modified, policy?
So. I'll
For a
second.
second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any against? Okay. All right, next we have public comment question. No.
I see. I said, please hold.
She comes back after the summer, she's always got this,
No, no questions.
no questions.
Yeah.
Karen, I'm sorry, before we go, into then, it's on the agenda, but if it's okay, I wanted to mention, I went to the leadership conference about a week ago in Albany, thanks for the opportunity to do so. So if it's okay, I would just want to bring back the information.
Yeah. please.
So I thought it was great to be around other districts from all over New York, because some have very similar situations to ours, where they are rural schools with lower enrollment rates, have the same issues about zero emission buses, and bringing those issues to NISBA. So we'll see with the voting in October. So it was nice to see that we're not alone. Sometimes it feels like as a district, we're fighting our own battles, and it's not. That can be across New York State. There were some districts though where that might be our goal, where they have like a daycare center on site and a coffee shop, and I know that's just what their community needs, but so that's something to aspire to. And there was a great focus about really engaging the community and making outreach with local businesses and local infrastructure organizations, and focusing on the strategic plan and just being transparent about where your community, where your school is with the strategic plan, if you're meeting your goals, if it's a 1-year goal versus like 5-year goals, and giving updates on that, and just make the community feel involved and that they can rely on the district for accurate information to feel safe when there's things not just going on in the district, but the community. So I thought that was very interesting. So that was kind of the focus of what I attended, and thank you for letting me have that opportunity. Thank you.
You know, it is always interesting to hear, especially some of the districts like out in the western part of the state, where it's like, you know, it's completely different. They don't even, it's almost like they don't consider themselves, when everybody else says New York, they start, oh, in Manhattan. And then they eventually get out to Alfred, New York. It is interesting. Thank you. All right, next is, go to executive session. Before we do that, I just want to remind everybody that, when we come back, the meeting is not over. When we come back, there may be actions that we have to take in public vote. So, just want to let you know that. With that, do I have a motion to go to executive session?
So
Go to second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right.